Good Thursday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the Internal Combustion Engine Age YouTube channel that talks about all my cars and trucks and SUVs, the motorcycles. Wow, wife's gone, kids gone. Where is everybody? Hey, Ice Age TV. I had a whole new order of Ice Age TV stickers shipped yesterday. So if you want one, iceagetv comments@gmail.com if you want to show the channel and help the channel grow. And wow, it's hard to believe that it's Thursday morning. And what another yet beautiful, beautiful Thursday morning week we're having this week compared to last week. A week ago, Thursday, it was raining, overcast, heavy rains from the Debbie tropical storm hurricane. And this week, we're just having incredible, beautiful weather, which is so cool, so nice. And as always, good morning to all those that subscribe to my channel. Really appreciate all those that support my channel, share the channel, and help the channel grow. And just once again, I really appreciate everybody's interaction. Hope everybody's having a blessed Thursday morning. Shop and get the daily routine going. I'm starting the morning conversations. What I enjoy, just what people don't know is for many, many years, I've always enjoyed having kind of the talk of the morning before the day gets going. And I just enjoy that to start the day off. And hey, the Honda Talon, I finally figured out what I did wrong. Operator error, not the manufacturer error. I mounted the top bracket up here upside down, and it took me going to Timbrook Honda yesterday to figure this out, where the guy and I were looking at the parts, and I was trying to figure out if the part was right for the strut and the bracket. And when I was looking at the instructions at the Honda dealership, I all of a sudden noticed that strut connection right there should be down there. So this needs to be flipped upside down. And then that should take care of the problem. Then I should have a really cool Super ATV plexiglass front windshield that now works properly. So that's encouraging. And it took me a while to figure it out, but I finally figured it out. And yeah, it was operator error. Not the smartest of the bunch here. So, and of course, in those adventures, other things have played out. If you know me, I go to Timbrook Honda. It's very challenging to go to Timbrook Honda and not buy yet another thing, which we'll stay tuned for those conversations as the day progresses. But let's focus on the morning conversations today. When we're back in the shop, electric bikes, Hondas, KTM, Mopars, Chevy, Triumph, a collection. And there's good old Don in that work truck. Good morning there, Don. And so let's get the dogs into the office here as I decide what we talk about today. And you're probably like, yeah, I get to watch your channel and you get to tell me the way it is, and I can't get in front of your face and tell you the way it really is, which I get that. And I had another subscriber reach out more on a personal note today. Where's Tango? Is he over there? No, stop it. Nope, don't do that. Jeez, this guy here, he's just constant challenge, man. Wow. But I had a long-term subscriber reach out, and this individual is voicing that I think he's going to leave the channel because he feels like my channel is becoming too divisive. And I respect that. As an individual, I know that I can come across and views and ideas that don't pertain to you and maybe irritate you. So my sincere apologies for the gentleman that reached out on my channel. And I'm not going to name your name. I just feel like it's only proper and appropriate that I'm not going to come across of attacking you, because that's not my goal in my channel or in life. Is you attack the subject, you don't attack the people. And that's very challenging in social media today. So sorry to see one of my subscribers that's a long-term subscriber possibly leave my channel because I think he feels like it becomes too political and just too divisive. And I understand that, and I respect that. So thank you so much for being a great subscriber. I don't want you to leave, but I can totally understand as a person in life that listens to somebody run their mouth that irritates you. I wouldn't listen to him either. I would leave as well. So, and I've done that to many things. So how do we keep the conversation going? And there's no money out in the shop. That's very expensive, and it really didn't do anything for my channel. So what blows me away is I just gave away like over $200 in monies, and it didn't do anything for the channel. But I know it takes time for people to figure that out, but I'm just not, I'm not in a position on this channel that pays me little to no money at all. If it was all about the money, I'd have been gone a long time ago. I mean, that's the reality. If it was all about the money, I'd have been gone a long, long time ago. There ain't no money in this business. And I've talked about that numerous days. So the whole point of that is there's no Jackson, there's no Ulysses Grant, there's no Benjamin Franklin, and they're not here. And the whole idea of that was I thought it would gain some traction of getting people just wanting to watch my channel to look for the money, which would open up the door. Maybe it opens the door to more subscribers, but it really didn't do anything. The subscriber base on my channel, believe it or not, is at its lowest count since I kind of started getting this channel go. So it's really weird how I used to get like 300, 400, 500, sometimes 800 subscribers in a month. Now I'm under 200. So it's very, minuscule now. I'm not complaining to you. I'm just sharing with you what's going on my channel. So the growth of my channel has drastically slowed down. And for those that watch my channel, it was 2020 when I started my channel, Ice Age TV, and it wasn't until last year, 2023, I think it was November of last year, that I hit 10,000 subscribers. So it was basically over 3 years of my efforts, and I'm proud of that, to get to 10,000 subscribers. But now here we are, now in the 8th month of this year. So really close to 10 months later, my subscriber base is at 12,000, not even 12,500, like 12,300 and some odd subscribers. So I've only gained 2,300 subscribers over now, what you could say is 10 months of time. So that's about an average, I guess, about 200 subscribers a month, I guess, would probably be my average here. So now back to let's talk about what the week's been about. And it began on the advertising conversations on Monday. And then it came to the influence conversations on Tuesday. And then we talked about the date conversations yesterday, which I should have talked about the expiration date of so many things in our life, including us. And I should have talked about whether you drive your motorcycle or car X amount of miles and the oil needs to be changed. Who doesn't know these stories? That for me, look at all the vehicles I have. Do you really think I put the real miles on them to have to require the oil to be changed? But by the manufacturer's guidelines, you have to change it every year or whatever. It's just, to me, what a waste of time, what a waste of oil. And do I follow that? No, because it's too much money, too much waste of product, and it doesn't need to be done. It's just the clock in the car telling you to change it. People have their different views of that because of the collected unused, unburned fuels to get into your oil, make it acidic. Yeah, whatever. So do I even keep these cars long enough till they fall apart? No. So will it be the next guy's problem? Probably. So what's today's, that falls right into the word of the day, paranoia. Yeah, paranoia. So I thought, wow, what a better word to use today than the paranoia that falls right in line with the advertising, the influence, the date, and then the paranoia. Because what is paranoia? It's you think of the future of what may be isn't going to be what you really want it to be. It's you're concerned, you're scared, you're frightened, you're worried. It's all those things together that create paranoia in your life, and your actions and your views and thoughts, really pertain to that. you know, there's some people who always are paranoid about everything in life. And I thought, wow, if we couldn't talk about that in great depth, which I'm not on my channel, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole. But if you could honestly say from 2020, the winter of 2020, of the paranoia, the biggest paranoia era ever in our lifetime, for the most people, beyond believable. Beyond believable of what we witnessed, of the paranoia that so many know. And I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole to have somebody bitch about my channel being one-sided and that I know everything. I'm not going to do it. But everybody who's on my channel is very smart and affluent that gets that message. Oh my gosh, the paranoia beyond control. And so that's what you have to think about. The advertising follows right into that paranoia. The influence follows right into that paranoia. The date falls right into that line of paranoia like never ever seen in our country. Ever. And it's in so many ways still going on. So I think to myself, wow, with the cars and trucks and motorcycles, what goes on in our life is the paranoia of this vehicle you just bought that it's going to get hit. It's going to get a scratch in it. You're going to be the person that's jinxed, and it's going to be the car engine blows up, or the transmission goes bad, or your wife or son or daughter or friend borrow the car and they crash it. I mean that's, or just you yourself driving the car. You're paranoid as hell that you're driving this 2015 Camaro Z28, which they no longer make anymore, and at the end of the day, you're paranoid to drive it because if you ever crash it, per se, it's not replaceable. And then you've ruined the value. You've ruined the true beginnings of the car. Yes, I mean, that's huge in our life. Who doesn't have a friend or family member that's in your car with you and you gas it and they're paranoid as hell you're going to crash or you're going to get a speeding ticket? You go to the motorcycles, the biggest number one paranoia you're going to hear come out of anybody's mouth is you're going to kill yourself, which that happens. But it happens more in cars than motorcycles. So it is interesting to know that in today's country, we'll lose 40 to 50,000 people in car accidents, and the average person isn't paranoid about driving a car. We'll lose 3 to 4 to 5,000 motorcyclists on a motorcycle in a given year, which that's about about a 5% to 6% ratio, maybe 10% if it was down to 40,000 cars. So, but the number one paranoid thing you have with these motorcycles is you're going to kill yourself. And yeah, if you're watching my channel, I just about did kill myself back on Easter Sunday, Easter weekend in Tennessee, where this crazy ass young girl ran a stop sign on a rural road, and if it wasn't for me being able to lock this bike down and one bar handle with one hand, I just narrowly missed hitting that woman and probably being paralyzed or killed in that one instant. So, but does that paranoia stick around you? It's a challenge. You may become paranoid of something, but once you begin to understand the paranoia, or are you astute enough, or are you brave enough, or you have the comprehension that you can overcome the paranoia. And that's a very big challenge in today's society because the social media and all the advertising, like you just said, think it through. Where we are in today's society more than ever, you have the advertising, you have the influence, and you have a date. And then you have the paranoia. That's all behind that. So that's a subliminal message that's going on more than ever in society, is that advertising, influence, and the date are all paranoia to you. And even for us Ice Age people, the EV age is what we all, in some ways, could say we're paranoid about because we don't want the EV age. We want the Ice Age. But here's some interesting information, is we now have the EV vehicle. So we now have in front of the EV, ER. What does that mean? Extended range. So what's gaining a lot of traction over in China with the bigger electric car manufacturers, they're seeing a trend kind of like our country here, where a lot of the Chinese people aren't excited about electric vehicles because of the range limitations and the paranoia of the range anxiety. That's the number one thing you hear about an electric vehicle. I get some water here. The number one thing you hear about the electric vehicle is it's the anxiety range. It's the paranoia that you're going to be stuck on the side of the road. You're going to have to go to a battery charging station like I did, and it doesn't work. And then you don't think you're going to make it to the next battery station or charging station, I should say. And so the ER, extended range, which it's just classic in how us humans operate. And Ram is bringing 3 brand new 1,500 half-ton series trucks to the market in 2025, 2026, that are going to give you the Ice Age, the EV age, and the EREV age, extended range electric vehicle. And that is, the extended range vehicle has a gasoline engine in it that's sole purpose is to regenerate electricity to charge the battery. Nothing to do with actually propelling the vehicle. It's just a gas engine in your vehicle that's going to recharge the battery like a generator. So it's just classic on how the constant battle of the EV age trying to overcome the ICE age is that paranoia and mindset of so many people. They don't like the idea of having to go sit at a charging station. The gas stations have them, and sit there for half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour, and hopefully there's nobody in front of you. Hopefully the charging station works. You watch my videos, you really watch my channel, and you dig through the library of all my videos. I have so many videos with so much personal experience that could relate to you and buying things. And it's really sad for me as a YouTuber that those videos, they just disappear. Nobody watches them. For all the effort and time I put into sharing people, if you go buy an F-150 Lightning truck and you think you can drive to Tennessee and you can tow this little measly enclosed trailer back here, and you think that you're going to be fine and dandy, you're kidding yourself. It's going to be a challenge. It's a challenge. And I have all that. So somebody's like, do I buy a Lightning truck and make it my primary truck and only vehicle I own? And I want to tow my camper. I want to tow my car hauler. It isn't going to work. It won't work. You're kidding yourself. You can't buy that vehicle. With the extended range EV, you probably could, because it's the gas engine that's now recharging your battery. And yeah, at some point, will you still have to probably charge the vehicle? Probably. But the point of that is, the goal is now, over in China, they have the I brand. There's so many different Chinese names. I know the BYD, Build Your Dream, because of Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway that has a major investment in that company, and they're the number one biggest selling electric vehicle manufacturer in the world now, overtaking Tesla. But the point is, there's a ton of electric vehicle manufacturers out there, and so one company has accomplished like 690 miles to close to 700-mile range in their basically Audi lookalike SUV four-door vehicle. And so what even Jim Farley was over in China, and he's now very excited about taking this same concept and transitioning into the Ford lineup of having the ER extended range electric vehicle with gasoline engines that are supplementing the battery pack by being a generator in your vehicle. So you're still burning the carbon dioxide, the CO2, still the carbon footprint. So, once again, what is the whole agenda of the green agenda? It's a paranoia. It's the biggest paranoia advertising influence date ever in our lifetime. Ever. That the green agenda is telling you and I that the world is going to come to an end, that there's a time frame where Mother Nature Earth is going to be burned up because of these carbon footprint destroyers. These vehicles are destroying the ozone layer. They're creating climate change. The world's going to melt down. Mankind is not going to survive because the temperatures and everything is going to go through the roof. Not it's going to become the ice age again, where it could go totally opposite and become the frozen planet again. Well, who knows? But the whole point is, it's a whole paranoia-driven agenda. That people are radical in the green agenda that would literally come to my house and they would probably torch every car I have. Yes, I mean, it's that radical. Whether I accept it or not, there are green agenda activists out there that just hate the ice age. They just hate fossil fuels. They despise it. It riles them up. It pisses them off. They would do devious things to you and I if we were in a crowd and these people all showed up at one time, and they would destroy your vehicle. And they would be dancing in the streets. This is how radical it is, because they believe in the paranoia. They believe that the world would come to an end if we don't turn all this stuff off. It's just incredible. And I know some people get a little irritated at me getting riled up in this stuff, but we live in an age more than ever of paranoia. I mean, it's so bad. Now, I met a guy yesterday at the Timber Honda looking to buy a motorcycle. And this guy looked like he was maybe 70 years old. This guy is 81 years old, and he's a Vietnam guy. So there's the daughter. So he's a Vietnam guy. And you can tell, just a tough guy. And he's owned so many cool motorcycles throughout his lifetime. And he's debating what he's going to get. The kid's getting back from working out at the gym this morning. And there she is. And so he was just a really cool guy to talk to yesterday. But you can just tell, the guy has seen what you and I don't want to see. And that's the challenge we live in society, We live in the most video content, social media ever. And it really is, sad, but I'm right there with you. There's so much stuff I just don't want to see. I talked in great length about how the artificial intelligence, the ChatGPT, the generative pre-trained transformer that came to be available online back like in 2018, 19, going into 2020, they shut it down because of the horrific things that was being taught to artificial intelligence. So they literally shut down the artificial intelligence infrastructure being capable for you and I to participate because so many devious things are going on, and it was just really, really bad. The point of that is, I'm sure this gentleman that came from the Vietnam War, he saw stuff that he wasn't even want to talk about. We know we have military personnel. There's people on my channel that have seen things that they can't unsee. And it creates very challenging mental disorder for those that have gone and have sacrificed themselves to try to protect and help others. And once again, it's very in-depth, very lengthy, and I'm not going to go down, that whole conversation because I'm not the expert in that by any means. But the real point is, it's the propaganda. It's the propaganda that gets us into wars. And what's interesting is, with us Ice Age people, it seems like the Ice Age type of personality, it just seems like we just love these motors and engines. And I think we're all kind of on the same page, that we want to keep what we have and not let it change. And that's the message that I'm trying to convey toward the channel is, sadly, there's others that are the minority of the world that are trying to change. That's the challenge. And I think many people just don't want to hear it. They don't. I get all that. I get that very much from people who watch my channel, that come to my channel, that want to see all the cool motorcycles and the cars and my interaction and my fun. But at the same time, I just like to try to share my views and ideas. And they're not always accurate. And it isn't here for me to try to brainwash you. That's not the goal. My goal is to have a morning conversation, share with you my addictions to what I own and have, but also the knowledge that is around us of what's going around us at this time. And it just seems like the voice of the truth and the voice of concerns, they get more beat up. Like Darren made a comment yesterday on my channel. Hope you're doing well there, Mr. Bison, Darren, man. It's like the working man. It's the working man's conversation that we can relate with each other. That the true working people of this country that haven't been given the handouts and haven't been given the little tissue to cry on all the time because things don't go your way. And we have some great supporters and subscribers that I'm sure could reach out and tell me stories of their own personal lives that I would just be taken back of what they've done and what they've sacrificed, and to what in some ways would feel to no avail. I mean, I feel for those Iraq soldiers that went to war. To what? To what came from all that? I mean, in some ways, a lot of came good, but in other ways, it didn't. And as you know, the Middle East is still in turmoil, but it'll always be in turmoil. If anybody here thinks that the Middle East, the divisions of religion, are ever going to change, you're just sucking on a lollipop. It isn't going to happen. It's always going to be divisive. It's always going to be a challenge. This history repeats itself. But for some reason, people get caught up that they don't think that history repeats itself, that mankind won't be in major wars and just what goes on. But here's what's interesting. For us as a country, they talked here recently about rewriting the draft rules. And it just kind of raises my radar antenna for me, having a young daughter and having her have young friends, that it just seems to me interesting that the draft is being talked about again. And you just have to wonder, with us going over to the Middle East, we really are on the verge of direct confrontation. We already are in direct confrontation, but we're using other people's bodies and countries to fight for us. That's all that's going on right now. We're using Ukraine and Israel to fight for the, but that's very divisive in that Israel-Palestinian thing. I get all that. I don't think it's as divisive as Ukraine or Russia. But whole point is, we're behind the scenes funding the wars, the technology, the military equipment, but we're right on the verge of being right there, face to face of what goes on. And any military person will tell you, just to think that you just go into a town or city and everything's cleaned up overnight and it's all over, you're kidding yourself. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Even though we per se have the strongest military in the world, just to think we could go to Iraq and, go over there and drop some bombs and everything's good and it's over in a few days. Yeah, any Iraqi personnel that went there would tell you, no, man, it's a big country. It's a lot of land. It doesn't work that way. It isn't that easy. And so for anybody sitting at home that's never been in a military conflict, the perception is, oh, we'll be okay because we've got the biggest, baddest ass military, arsenal and personnel and blah, blah, blah. And nothing will really be to worry about here stateside. It'll be all okay. I don't know. I wouldn't agree with that as much today because of all the technology advancements throughout the world. People have capabilities of getting stuff more than ever they did, 20, 30, 40 years ago. But here's the thing. Who has the biggest military in the world? Who has the biggest military in the world? What do you think that answer is? I'd be willing to bet most this morning would say China. No, China does not. We're not. What's incredible is I took a screenshot picture of this just to share with you on my phone, if I can get it to open up, as I talk to you, but it won't open up because I'm sitting here trying to talk to you. So right here is the information, see if I can get it for you, here it is. So guess who has the biggest military in the world? Vietnam. Wow. India, South Korea, Russia, China, Ukraine. Wow. United States, North Korea, Pakistan, Iran. So it's pretty incredible to think that Vietnam. But Vietnam, we invaded them. We gave them hell. And you just have to wonder if the Vietnamese just have in their books forever that they're always going to have the biggest manpower in the world because of what they went through back in the Vietnam War. I really don't know. The whole point is, I would have said China. If you would have asked me, I would have been China. Or maybe Russia, but I would have been more like China because you get so much propaganda, so much paranoia of the China, how China is growing by leaps and bounds, even though China's in hardships and the economy over there, which that's all mixed views and ideas and what's going on, what ain't going on. But the whole point is, why do these countries have these massive military things? Why, if the world is so-called in balance and we all should just be, it's okay. It's, you're overkill, Mr. Iceman, that your views and ideology, it's just a waste of time, man. And I get all that because when I was younger, when I used to hear the likes of Rush Limbaugh, he used to just piss me off. But I can remember so well of Rush Limbaugh harboring about Barack Obama. Harboring day in, day out about Barack Obama. In so many ways, Rush Limbaugh became very successful because of Bill Clinton. He used to rag on Bill Clinton all the time. And so Rush Limbaugh, as you know, he was a very astute, very knowledgeable man. He had a heck of a following. I'm sure many of those who used to follow him are very saddened that he passed early. If he didn't smoke cigars every day of his life, he probably would have lived longer because he died from lung cancer. And I think Donald Trump recognized him before he passed and gave him the Valor. I can't remember what award he gave him, but the whole point is I couldn't listen to Rush Limbaugh because I just want to hear it. And he would just piss me off. And I get that. That's what I was telling my one subscriber this morning was that I can understand listening to me talk. This probably just starts to piss you off. You don't want to hear it. But the thing is, as well as I do, the things that Rush Limbaugh talked about and his views and ideology have all played out. And that's what's so aggravating for me as an individual. You hear these Fox News, you hear all these so-called media, journalists, experts, and they run their mouth all day long, and they tell you how it's going to be, and they tell you what you shouldn't do versus what you should do, and to no avail. To no avail. For all they're running their mouth all day long, guess what? Joe Biden was elected. So if you're a conservative person and you want to see another term of Donald Trump, and you're very concerned about the future of the country going a whole different direction, which was talked about over and over and over again, that when Joe Biden takes over, if he gets to be the president, it's going to be Barack Obama behind the scenes, and they're going to change a ton of stuff, and it's going to become much more expensive and much more radical to live in our country. And so, but you know what? They preach that stuff day in, day out, but the other ear, the left ear, doesn't want to hear it. The right ear is listening to it. The right ear tried to prevent that, but the left ear ended up prevailing to do and bring what we are at today. And some people be like, you mouth off on your channel, but things aren't really that bad. Okay. And even on Facebook yesterday, a subscriber that follows me, he posts stuff about what's going on. And I said, you'll get no attention. You'll get no attention from this comment on Facebook because they're not going to contest it. They're not going to challenge your views and ideas. And so for me, what I did is I responded. Let's see here. But for me, what goes on Facebook and everything else, it gets lost. So I won't even get it. But what I was saying is what we're in right now is we're in the endless wars. We're in the endless immigration challenges. We're in the endless lawless cities. We're in the endless inflation. We're in the endless. I'm just trying to think we're in the endless argument over abortion rights. We're in the endless argument over gun rights. And everything under this administration is just an endless conversation that's continuing on, but everything's getting more challenging. And that's what I'm trying to resonate to some of those that read my posts on Facebook or somebody watches my channel, is that under the city administration, I'm not saying that, and what's wrong here in my conversations, anybody thinks I'm here going to tell you that Donald Trump solves all the problems of the world. That's not the conversation. Donald Trump irritated me during that January 6th uprising and all these people going to prison and they're all still sitting in prison. That could have been me. I could have been one of those participants with the so-called stolen election. Yes, that just hits too close to home. So, but the point is, I think we can do better as a left ear and right ear and having a common ground of what seems to make more sense than nonsense. And that's the challenge more than ever with this green agenda. It's the endless green agenda that's at our doorstep like never seen. It's now, sadly, the defense contractors and the ammunition makers having an endless business of funding wars. That's huge money. I told you yesterday, you're going to love to see Kamala Harris get elected if you're a green agenda business guy. If you're an ammunitions or defense contractor, you're going to continue to make a ton of frickin' money. The big oil thing, yeah, well, everybody points the finger that Donald Trump is all about the big oil and he's going to help them make their record profits. For the record, the oil companies made more money under Joe Biden than they ever have in modern times. The oil companies have produced more oil and exported more oil than we ever have in modern times. You got to look it up. People want to hear that because they think that Joe Biden's anti-oil. Well, yes, he is. But at the same time, he can't just control everything and change everything overnight. And the oil companies have been reaped rewards because of the Ukraine-Russia war. Because of Russia being turned off to the world oil supply, the natural gas production is through the roof being produced and shipped overseas because of Russia turning off the natural gas. So once again, under Joe Biden's tenure, aka Barack Obama, there's been wealth made like never ever seen. So in some ways, there's gonna be some people like, just leave it alone. I am making money fist over hand like never ever seen, and I'll accept the district attorneys raising the criminal, crime can be done and you don't get punished. I'll deal with that. I'll deal with all these illegals coming into the country and somehow we'll work it out. I'll deal with that because I'm making a ton of money. As a car salesperson or car dealership, oh well, the green agenda is on our doorstep, who cares? People are still coming to buy a damn car. It's overhyped. Who gives two craps? I guarantee a lot of people would be like, yeah, at the end of the day, people just continue to buy cars. It ain't going to happen overnight. It's overhyped. It's the paranoia. And so once again, the conversation in the morning is the paranoia that we're all being, in so many ways, are we at the most paranoia in modern time. I mean, what's the biggest concern of artificial intelligence? It's going to devour and destroy mankind. Look at Elon Musk. I have voiced a lot about Elon Musk, and I talked a lot about Elon Musk, and I kind of have pulled back on talking about him a lot. But one thing I said about Elon Musk when she bought that Twitter and made it X is that he's going to be attacked like never before. He's going to be turned upside down and look to be Donald Trump Jr. And you know what? It's happening. In fact, there's journalist after journalist ragging on Elon Musk. In fact, many journalists are now saying that X will go bankrupt because it's such a conservative now view social platform. I'm like, wow. Have you ever gone to X? You know how many liberal-minded, strong-minded, Democratic, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Barack Obama lovers are on there? It's through the roof. It's through the roof. I'm like, what X do you go to? The X I go to, I see more liberal-minded people mouthing off on X than I do conservatives. So it's kind of like, where's that comment coming from? Well, once again, it's the paranoia. It's the paranoia that this gentleman here is trying to set the tone that, hey, the underlying message by this journalist is, hey, all you conservative guys, don't relish in the day thinking you can just mouth off and be on a platform like Elon Musk and do whatever you want. Your day of reckoning is coming to an end. Wow. Is that the underlying message? I think it is. It's always, remember, it's always cause and effect. And for some reason, we kind of get lost in that, but it's all about cause and effect. All right. Going to kind of wrap it up. And for anybody watching my channel, if I offend you, I'm not intentionally wanting to do that, and I'm sorry if I do. And I get it. My channel is not by any means the biggest channel. My channel is nothing in the YouTube community. Majority, I would say 99% of the people, if not higher, have no clue of my channel. I'd be willing to say that 99.9% of the YouTube community has no clue that I exist. I'm just a flea in the Sahara Desert. It doesn't have that type of viewership. You look at my morning conversations, it's about an average of 200 views, and those views, I can guarantee you, last for anywhere from 8 to 9 minutes at best, and there's only a few select few that are true patrons of my channel that really watch the majority of the channel and don't turn it off. So I'm very, very minuscule of my comments, my conversations. I'm not the Joe Rogan. I'm not the Mr. Beast. I can go through the list of all the YouTubers that have hundreds of thousands of viewers, subscribers, and they get thousands and thousands and thousands of views. That isn't what my channel is. So my voice of concern, it really doesn't go very far besides just a select few people that watch my channel. And then what draws people to my channel is the craziness of me buying yet another motorcycle, another car, another truck, or Mr. Sanchez, good to hear your voice. I was starting to get worried about Mr. Sanchez because he disappeared on me, and I just hope he was okay. And he actually kind of rang in on the Honda Grom conversation. If you're following my channel, you know there may be a Honda Grom adventure today, maybe. We'll see how that plays out. And I'll share that on separate videos and all that stuff today. And so I'm glad to hear Mr. Sanchez is okay. Because some of you disappear just like Mr. Charles out there, the hood, he chimed in the other day, because every now and then some people just kind of disappear. But the point I'm trying to convey to you is I'm just a very, very select few people that really watch and listen to my channel. Very, very small. So for my views and ideas and thoughts, they just don't really get any traction, go anywhere, because I'm not that type of well-known YouTuber, and that's all good. But the point is, most people come to my channel because they love to see the entertainment of what I own and all the artwork I own, and that's very challenging. Yeah, this stuff here, yeah, this stuff's a bloody fortune. Yeah, the gold rush, this is like owning gold. Just picture if this was the value of gold, of what I'm spending to try to keep things in my life, that may eventually have to just go bye-bye. Yeah, when do they start going bye-bye? I don't know. Yeah, am I paranoid about that? Yeah, somewhat. Because the YouTube channel, it ain't going to pay for this stuff. And I drove the Kirby truck yesterday, and it's better than I thought. I've come to closure that it's a big-ass lifted truck with big-ass tires and wheels, and it just isn't going to drive like a factory setup truck like the Bison. Or it's just not going to drive like a factory setup Tremor. So it's enjoyable, but it's a freaky It's a truck that you have to keep your two hands on that wheel at all times. Otherwise, that thing just dances on its own. And you get that if you're a big Ford guy and drive these solid front axle vehicles. All right, everybody, that's it. I said that a few minutes ago. So my apologies for talking too long sometimes, but I hope everybody enjoys the content and shares the channel and reach out for Ice Age TV. And everybody's gotten their money that I know of. It wasn't stolen by the mailman. And Don should be getting a Mr. Benjamin, hopefully, before the week's out, hopefully. And he's going to be able to enjoy a Mr. Benjamin, which that was a lot of money. So he was the big winner. But Don's the most active subscriber to my channel, so I think I'm glad, because for being the most active person on my channel, he really deserved the big win. So, all right, everybody, thank you for watching my channel. Have a great day. God bless. Stay tuned for the Grom Adventures.